Now, I promised the audience that we would talk about answering the question, what do I want to do and what do I like to do? And this leads into your 4 steps to personal transformation.
Yeah.
So I thought what we'd do is show this graphic to
yeah,
the audience
sure.
and then go through these 4 steps, and maybe you can talk about how the 4 steps help a person answer the question.
Absolutely.
So, okay, the 4 steps to personal transformation and how that might help you figure out what to do is, the first one's listening.
Yes. See, it's...
which sounds like a lot, the sales thing, right? Listening to what the person's
absolutely,
pain
right?
is. Right?
I had a manager that told me once, Paul, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Take the hint.
Use them in that proportion. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I take listening, the concept of listening a little deeper. Because if you're trying to find your authentic self, you're trying to find what's important to yourself, you have to know what's really important to you. And very few people teach us, like I say, we don't teach our children to listen. We teach them all the sciences, if you would. I say our churches, our temples, our schools, we don't teach our children to really listen to themselves. We tell them what to do, we tell them what the scriptures say, we tell them, and all over the world, we tell them what the latest technologies are, the philosophies of the world. But how often do you say, what do you really want to do? And really get them to internalize that. So as an adult, I think learning to listen to what's really important to yourself is critical, and I think that's a learned art, and I teach that. So the first step is really taking the time to listen. And guess what? It's not what, the traditional sense of meditating where you've got to fold your legs and burn some incense and a candle and, wear saffron robes. But it's being able to silence the mind, but really listen to the self. And I think there's ways to do that. And if you look at people, and I really believe the heart is important. When we're worried, we touch our heart and like, there's something worrying me. I'm not going to touch it because I know we have a mic here, But
you're saying the person would listen and then listen
to the
inside
internal
themselves, and then that would help them have some barometer. I like this, I really do. It makes me come alive, or I don't.
Yes, and a good way to do it is simply to say, do you feel happy? Does it energize you, or does it drain you? Right, so listening to that. So the second step, if I may proceed,
yes, awareness,
right, is awareness. So you learn to listen, and then learn to be aware of what brings you pain and suffering, and what brings you joy. Just the awareness, just calling, and just looking, just feeling, and saying, I really feel X, Y, Z. Makes me feel good or bad. Knowing that, but really getting it. Not
how do you, I know this is not down here, but how do you deal with fear? In other words, that the bad feeling you might have isn't that it's inauthentic for you, but that you just fear it.
Exactly.
Can you recognize when you're listening inside yourself, hey, this is fear, this is a blockage?
You're actually looking for it. That's what I teach.
Oh, really?
I'm looking for, that's the awareness. Be aware of what brings you fear, pain and suffering, right? And what brings you joy and love and happiness. And notice it. And then that segues to the next level, the next step, which is the
transition.
Is transition, which is then what you want to do is move away from what brings you pain and suffering, and do more of what brings you joy. And very often people are in bad relationships, bad jobs. They're doing things that I don't know why I'm doing it, but it's just we've been doing it for so long, so yeah, I got to go do this again. They feel bad, simply, I had a friend who'd go play basketball with friends from high school 20 years later. He really outgrown his friendships, because sometimes you got to let friendships go, right? Treat them accordingly, respect the friendship, but spend time doing what you're committed to, for the sake of what's important to you today. Allow the friendships, just as it's great to meet a friend, sometimes they've got to go. What are you going to focus on? So release what doesn't bring you joy, and focus on more than whatever brings you happiness, and that's a transition.
Okay.
Right, and the final one is creative change and alignment.
Yeah.
And that's about once you know what's really important to you, start doing that. Do a career change. Quit your job. It's take
a chance.
Yeah, but a calculated one. Not a chance where I don't know. Let me go see. No, take the time to see first. Give
That's
yourself.
part of what I always encourage people to do, informational sessions with people and ask them, and then see how what they're saying resonates with you. Is that something you?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I don't prescribe. I don't have a syllabus of exactly how to do the listening, because I think everybody's different. Go to the elders if you have them. Right? Go to a coach. Go for a walk on the beach, right? Very few people schedule time to listen, right? There was a wonderful book I read, I think it was The Zen of Martial Arts. I cannot recall who the author.
The Zen of Martial Arts?
Martial Arts. And I can't recall the author. Fantastic little book. And one of the sayings that I've always remembered, I've learned to do from there is active inactivity. Spend a half day not doing anything, turn the phones off, don't make any appointments, and just do nothing and listen.
And what's the quote again?
Active inactivity.
Active inactivity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Because there's so many impulses that we're always facing, the iPods, this, that. Go for a walk, but please don't wear iPods.
Yeah,
don't listen to the music.
I'm part of a meditative group, and it says, don't just do something, sit there.
Right, exactly.